brandished a golden pistol he said he'd taken from Gaddafi.
This is a golden gun that Gaddafi tried to defend himself with in his last days on Earth. The Libyan dictator was assassinated on camera, paraded through the streets, and declared a villain of history. Most people think Gaddafi was just a power-hungry madman who deserved what he got. But what if I told you that same madman gave Libyans free education, free healthcare, and the highest standard of living in Africa? But if you follow the money trail after his death, a far more sinister picture emerges. One where Western powers gained, Africa lost, and Libya fell apart. Stick around, because the version of Gaddafi you've been told might be the biggest lie of the 21st century, and that lie benefited only those who helped spread it. Chapter 1: Death of a Tyrant. When Gaddafi died in that dusty ditch outside Sirte, the headlines called it a liberation. A tyrant was gone. The people were free. Democracy, they said, was finally coming to Libya. But here's the thing. If you follow the money, the story starts to smell different. In the weeks after his death, foreign oil companies rushed back into Libya like it was Black Friday. France's Total, Italy's Eni, the UK's BP, they all made quiet, strategic moves. Billions in contracts suddenly unfroze. Deals were renegotiated. And just like that, Libya's oil, 1.6 million barrels a day, was flowing to new hands. Funny how that works. Then there's the gold. Gaddafi's hoard, 143 tons of it, vanished. No receipts, no trails, just gone. Some say it was smuggled out, others whisper that it was seized. But not a single official ever gave a straight answer about where that gold ended up or who profited from it. Behind the scenes, Qatar played kingmaker, arming rebel groups and influencing the new power structure. France, we now know, was desperate to assert itself in North Africa and was allegedly afraid Gaddafi's gold dinar plan would undermine the CFA franc, France's economic grip on its former colonies. Emails from Hillary Clinton's server later revealed a cocktail of motives: oil, gold, influence, and, yes, control over Africa's financial future. One line even referred to a threat to the stability of the international monetary system. But here's the twist. Libya didn't get stability. It got chaos, civil war, warlords, slave markets, and foreign troops fighting proxy battles on Libyan soil. So how did one man, raised in a tent, ascend the throne of Libya and bring stability to the country? Before we move on to the next section, please don't forget to subscribe if you liked the video so far. Chapter 2: Tents to Thrones. Before he became one of the most feared and flamboyant dictators in the world, Muammar Gaddafi was just a barefoot boy from the desert. Born in 1942 in a tent near the Libyan town of Sirte, he grew up herding goats with no electricity, no running water, and barely any formal education. His father was an illiterate Bedouin nomad. But young Muammar had big dreams and a serious grudge against colonial powers. Libya, at the time, had just shaken off Italian rule and was now under the shaky leadership of King Idris, a monarch many saw as more loyal to foreign oil companies than his own people. Gaddafi joined the military in his early 20s and climbed the ranks with quiet ambition and loud ideas. He devoured books on Nasser's Pan-Arabism and plotted revolution while still in uniform. Then, at just 27 years old, 27, he pulled off a bloodless coup in 1969, toppling King Idris while the monarch was conveniently out of the country getting medical treatment. The world barely blinked. Libya, back then, wasn't on many radars. But that was about to change. Gaddafi didn't just want to rule, he wanted to reinvent Libya. He styled himself as a man of the people. No fancy palaces, no official title. Just brother leader living in a tent, supposedly closer to his roots. But don't let the humble branding fool you. Behind that canvas was a man who quickly took control of the army, the media, the oil, and the narrative. He banned political parties, imprisoned dissidents, and silenced critics. Yet, to many in the Arab world, He was a revolutionary hero, challenging Western imperialism and calling for unity among Arab nations. So, how did a goat-herding desert kid become the kingmaker of North Africa and manage to cling to power for over 40 years? And why did the world let him? That's where it gets interesting. Chapter 3. Power and Oil. After taking power, Gaddafi did something that made oil giants sweat bullets. He kicked them out. In the early 1970s, he nationalized Libya's oil industry, tearing up contracts with companies like BP and Exxon and telling them to take a hike. Suddenly, 100% of Libya's oil profits stayed in Libya, and just like that, the country went from sand and camels to cash and skyscrapers. By the 1980s, Libya had the highest GDP per capita in Africa, more than $11,000 per person at its peak, thanks to its massive oil reserves, which still rank in the top 10 globally. But Gaddafi didn't just want money, he wanted legacy, and so came the Green Book. Think of it as part political manifesto, part fever dream, part bedtime story, written entirely by Gaddafi himself. It rejected capitalism, rejected communism, and pitched something called Jamahiriya, which means state of the masses. In theory, it meant no politicians, no corruption, and people directly running the country through local councils. In practice, Gaddafi was still calling every shot, just without a formal title. Clever, no? To the outside world, Libya looked like a model for progress. Education was free. Healthcare, also free. The literacy rate, once just 10%, shot up to over 80%. Women were going to university. Roads, airports, housing, everything boomed. But here's the thing, all that progress came with a warning label. Speak against the regime and you might just disappear. Gaddafi had a network of spies, secret prisons, and even created special revolutionary committees to root out enemies of the state. He plastered his face on every billboard, dressed in wild military outfits, and gave speeches that ran longer than a Netflix binge. And yet, despite the weirdness, the violence, and the dictatorship, the West still shook his hand. Why? Maybe it had something to do with oil. Or maybe there was something else hiding beneath Libya's glitzy surface. We'll get there. Chapter 4. Global Disruptor. If Gaddafi ruled Libya like a king, he played on the world stage like a chaos dealer. In the 70s and 80s, he didn't just want to lead a country, he wanted to reshape the planet. He poured millions, some say billions, into rebel groups, militant networks, and anti-colonial movements across the globe. From the IRA in Ireland to the Black Panthers in the US and even rebels in Chad, Gaddafi was writing checks and sending weapons like it was a global shopping spree for revolution. His goal? Break Western dominance, one uprising at a time. But he wasn't just funding rebels, he was dreaming bigger. Gaddafi wanted to unite all of Africa under one flag, one military, and one currency backed by gold. Yep, real gold. He proposed ditching the US dollar and euro for a pan-African dinar made from Africa's vast gold reserves. That would have meant serious trouble for global powers who liked having Africa as a resource supplier, not a financial powerhouse. Naturally, the West wasn't thrilled. Then came the 1988 Lockerbie bombing. A Pan Am flight over Scotland exploded, killing 270 people. All fingers pointed to Libyan agents. Sanctions slammed Libya. Gaddafi became a global villain. But here's where the story takes a weird turn. After 9/11, Gaddafi tried to clean up. He handed over Lockerbie suspects, paid out $2.7 billion in compensation, and even ditched his weapons of mass destruction program. George W. Bush and Tony Blair gave him a temporary hall pass. Libya reopened for business. For a hot second, Gaddafi was sipping espresso with European leaders and smiling in photo ops. But that détente didn't last. As his gold-backed dreams grew louder and his oil deals grew more selective, old tensions boiled over. So what flipped the switch again? Who decided Gaddafi had outlived his usefulness? You'll want to hear what happened next. It wasn't just about politics. It was about power. Want to understand the world better? Start with history and subscribe to our channel. Chapter 5. Revolution or Regime Change. By 2011, the world was on fire. The Arab Spring had started sweeping across North Africa and the Middle East like a political wildfire. Tunisia fell, Egypt followed, and suddenly, all eyes were on Libya. After 42 years of Gaddafi's rule, protests erupted in Benghazi. At first it looked like just another uprising, but this one had teeth, and soon, tanks. Gaddafi didn't exactly play it cool. He called the protesters rats, threatened to hunt them down house by house, and launched military crackdowns that shocked the world. But here's where things got murky. Almost overnight, a rebel force appeared. Badly organized, lightly armed, but oddly well-connected. NATO got involved fast. By March 2011, the UN approved a no-fly zone, and NATO began bombing Gaddafi's military under the banner of humanitarian intervention. But was it really just about protecting civilians, or was something else on the table? Leaked Hillary Clinton emails revealed France had 5 motives for pushing the Libya war. One of them? Gaddafi's 143 tons of gold and a plan to introduce a pan-African currency. The kind of idea that gives central banks heartburn. Libya also had the largest oil reserves in Africa, producing nearly 1.6 million barrels a day. That's a lot of leverage, if you're sitting on it. As Tripoli fell, Gaddafi fled. For weeks he hid near his hometown of Sirte, still clutching a golden pistol. Then, on October 20th, 2011, he was captured by rebels in a drainage pipe and beaten to death on camera. No trial. No real answers. Just a gruesome end for a man who once dreamed of ruling Africa. Was Gaddafi a brutal dictator who got what he deserved, or a visionary leader who was taken out because he challenged Western power? Let us know in the comments below. Here's another video history buffs enjoyed watching. Bye for now.